Welcome. Thank you for joining me today. Debz Cooper, Global Stressologist, on this fine and dandy day. Today we're talking about why do we overthink? Now I bet you that was one that you went, oh, why do we? Now did you go into the, why do we overthink? Why is she doing that one? Blah, 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 blah. Because I did when I started thinking about this topic. So thanks for joining me, Debz Cooper, Global Stressologist. As I said, I would love to know if you were here live on this call or if you're here doing a replay. If you have any questions, throw them in the chat and I'll be able to address them. And thank you. Thank you for joining me. So when we talked about past stories coming into play, this is the reason why we overthink. And when I talk about past stories are things that have happened to you in the past or somebody else that you've seen or heard. And this is a major factor to overthinking. I believe it's actually all around 99% of our overthinking. And our overthinking is past stories that haven't been healed. And when I say haven't been healed, don't have full gratitude for. Have a little bit of emotion hanging in there, a little bit of fear, a little, maybe there's an elation, maybe there's a deflation, whatever it is, but it's something that's still sitting in there for you that hasn't been healed, resolved, sitting in your heart. And you know the ones, because I know right now you're clearly going, oh, I can hear a few past stories filter away in my head. So past stories can be a curse or they can be a blessing. It just depends on what the story is and how you've handled it so far. So I'm going to go into why do we overthink a little bit more, and then I'm going to give you some strategies on potentially stopping that overthinking or just calming it down even, because I think the idea is to love that thinking but not actually overthink until your whole insides are tuning in and you actually don't even know where you're going or what you're doing. So when I think about overthinking, I go into our past stories. I clearly think about that. And I think that we regret our decisions based on our past stories. So we can regret our decisions in the past that have happened and we keep holding on to them coming through. And also when things happen in the new world now, in the present, we can pull in those old stories and we can regret our decisions then. So our decision may be a yes and our decision may be a no, but we can sit in that regretful space. And that is not healthy for your soul. And I say your soul because your soul is definitely your mind and your body and how to move through life. So we have limiting beliefs. Some call them limiting beliefs. And limiting beliefs are our past stories that have turned into fears. And our limiting beliefs are things that we call procrastination, I'm stuck, I don't know what to do, when really you do know what to do, you just don't want to do it because it's too hard, it's in the too hard basket. And this is our limiting beliefs because they are the things, you hear a lot of speakers say, your limiting belief stops you from doing things. Well, yes it does, but it also gives you into that pondering stage. And that pondering stage is when you're really thinking about what am I doing, how am I doing it? Do I do it this way? What's the outcome it's going to be? Do I have a past hurt, curse or blessing, that I'm holding on to that's going to have a different outcome? I believe in energy. So any energy you hold on to from these past stories, you're going to bring into the next one. It's just like a lesson, that if you don't learn your lesson from that story, or that hurt or that blessing or anything, if you don't learn your lesson, it's going to come in another form at a greater level. And I'm sure you've heard things say, oh, did you learn your lesson? Did you learn your lesson? If you do not learn your lesson, it keeps coming back to you. So if you've got the same pattern that keeps coming over and over and over again, and it's the same one, then what is that lesson in there? You don't stop and get present and ask yourself, what is that lesson? It's just going to keep going. Now, that can put you into an overthinking scenario. I'm not saying sit and go, what is it, beat myself up, I can't get it, I can't figure it out, whatever it is. That's not what I'm talking about. You'll know when you get it. And if you just go, okay, what is it that was that lesson? And you don't have to sit down with pen and paper and try and figure it out. Just go, what is it? And give some time. Go out into nature and go, what is that lesson? What was that? What did I learn from that? It will come straight into your head if you're present. But then most likely, well, if you're like me, you go, that's not it. It's something else. And I step into something else. So just be aware of that. So when we have downtime in our world, that's where our overthinking runs and runs and runs. And, you know, and our physical as well, not just in our mind. So like people who overeat, they overeat because they are potentially bored, or they're not active, or they're doing something they don't want to do, and so they're potentially eating. So this is another level of overthinking. When we have too much time on our hands, we overthink. When we have too much time on our hands, we overthink. Now, I'm not saying get busy, 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 but I'm saying get inspired and do what inspires you, and you won't be overthinking the worst case scenario. So when we feel crazy in our heads, when we feel really crazy in our heads, and you know the time you felt crazy in your heads, our stories run. And when they run, they collect more and more and more evidence that, and I use the word crazy, like that, more and more crazy evidence that this is not going to work or something's going to happen to you, and we escalate and escalate. So that's just a reminder that our past stories haven't been healed. When we get into this, what do you call it? And mouse, I'm trying to think what it's called. The mouse on the wheel. When you get into that state and you're going over and over and over, and there's no solution that pops up, you're never going to get a solution when you're going round and round in that clog. So it's about time you heal them. And when I was coming up with thinking about overthinking, I asked a couple of people, and I said, what are the stories that are really holding you back? What are the stories that you're really attached to, that either yourself or someone else? And I was very cautious when I was asking these, because some of the people I asked, I didn't want them to tell me their stuff. I just wanted to know. So I said, if it makes you feel better, say that it was a friend. And a couple of them actually went, oh, okay. So one of them actually was that their partner doesn't come home when they say they will. So maybe the partner says they're going to come home at 9 o'clock, and 9 o'clock they don't come home. And they come home at 10:30, 11, quite some time. So that person who's waiting on their partner to come home is going to overthink all these things if they have experienced betrayal or relationship wobbles or anything in their past. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the healing. If you do not heal that, you're going to bring that energy bubble into your next relationship. And that doesn't have to be an intimate relationship. That can be a business relationship, a friendship relationship. It can be, business, intimate, friendship, children, other people, any of these things. So if you do not heal that stuff, it's going to come bigger and bigger. And there's another one I spoke to somebody about, and they said, oh, my friend keeps asking me to borrow money, and I feel bad for them because I have more money than them. And I'm like, okay. And they said, but she never pays me back. I'm like, okay. And she goes, but I still give her money knowing she's not going to pay me back. Now, that's an overthinking. Do I loan this person their money? Do I help them with what they've got going on now, or do I not? And with that, knowing they're not going to get paid back because they never have been paid back in the past. So that's a tough one for you. So this is a story that hasn't been healed from every time they haven't paid back. So if you don't resolve it, you're not going to get it, and you're going to constantly have that person asking you for money. So I'm sure as I say this, you're probably going, oh, I know that person, or I know that person. So if you're going to loan money to somebody, ensure you have a plan in place that they pay you. Whether it's $1 a week they pay you back, or whatever it is, just do something that's comfortable for you both to know that there's a fair exchange in it. So this is their past stories that haven't been healed, and it's not going to get healed. They're not going to move forward until they've actually healed it. The other thing is, whatever you say to yourself, and this is internally or externally, actually sticks. You know, when we say to other people, you're beautiful, or wow, what a lovely dress, that person puts their shoulders back and they own it and they go, thank you, this is my favorite dress. or whatever it is. I don't know. Or, wow, I love the way you speak, or I love the way you articulate, or I really think you're an amazing parent. So whenever you say that stuff to people, they have their shoulders back. But if you say, you're an absolute horrid parent, I think you're rubbish, or that dress is so not good on you, or you've put on weight, or why haven't you got your finances in order, or any of those things, that stuff sticks to them. And you'll probably break your friendship up. So we do that to ourselves. We say all those things to ourselves. And when we go to ourselves, we overthink and we go the extreme. So be aware that whatever you say to yourself or others, to yourself, really sticks and gets into your core. Even when I say jokes, even when I reference jokes that you say about yourself, like, so I'm clearly a blonde. And I've definitely had the advantage and disadvantage of being a blonde through my life. And I will play on it and not play on it. And when I worked in a social circle, when I worked in a bar many, many, many years ago, I definitely leveraged my blondness. And I would play on it, you know, dumb blonde, silly blonde. People would come into the bar and, you know, they'd tell me a blonde joke before I got to tell them my male chauvinistic jokes, because, you know, for every blonde joke, I had about 10 male chauvinistic jokes. So anytime I was saying that to myself or to others, oh, dumb blonde, whatever it is, I'm just a dumb person, I don't like my body, or whatever, I'm just a female in this world of males, any of that self-talk, it really sticks. And you may joke about it, but the universe doesn't understand your jokes. So be really cautious with what you're saying to yourself, internally and externally, because clearly externally you're going to hear it, but internally you hear it at a different level. So be aware of that stuff, especially the jokes. When we come to overthinking, don't Google it. Don't Google what's wrong with me. Get an expert. So when I say that, we all go, oh, I've got a headache. Do I take a headache tablet? Or I've had this rash. What do I do? And we go into Google, and 45 minutes later, we find out we're dying. And I don't know how many doctors or medical people I've spoken to people have come to them and said, this is my symptoms. This is what I've got. I've Googled it. Now, you've got to have trust and faith in that expert that they know what they're doing. You're going to them for something. You're not going because you did the old Google and this is what it says. So don't Google it. Your body will know if you need to go see a specialist or not. And that's in your physical or in your mind. So just listen to your body. When we have this overthinking, this chaos, this whatever it is sitting in your head, whatever it is, when we have this, you have to get it out. You must get it out. You would love to get it out. You desire to get it out. You need to get it out. I don't know how you need to hear this, but get it out of here and onto here. Now, you can handwrite it. You can handwrite it. You can handwrite it. You can put it into your notes on your phone. You can put it wherever you want, but you must get it out of this head, because all this does is overthink. It's like weeds in the garden or wires that are all entangled. So you've got to get it out of here because it's not going to help you. So write it down. Look at, have you experienced it before? Have you experienced it before? If you did experience it before, when you did that, whatever it was, what you've experienced before, how did it serve you at that time? How did it serve you? How did it benefit you? How did it enhance your life? How did it enhance your world at that time? And if there was anybody else you felt guilty about, shame about, or anything that got hurt, or any of that stuff that's sitting in your mind, how did it serve them as well? So it's benefit to yourself and benefit to others, or those who have experienced it or witnessed it with you. And you do enough of these until you can go, oh, it's not that bad after all. Because that's a past story. That's a past story that you're holding on to. You know, I talked about the partner not coming home at 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock or whatever time it was. That's a past story that we're holding on to. So resolve that, deal with that. When we overthink, we go to worst case scenario. And worst case scenario is insane. Insane, worst case scenario. And that's at Dr. Google, we go to worst case scenario. So when you get to that worst case scenario, if that was to happen, because you've clearly gone there, so you can't ungo there. When you go there, you can't ungo. So when you go there, look at how would it serve you if the worst case happened? How would it serve you if the worst case happened? and anybody else that story attached to that story. So recently I worked with a gentleman who had watched his father pass away, and we worked some benefits to his father passing away until he was incredibly grateful, and it just opened up a whole new world. But next time we spoke, he then said, I don't feel that comfortable with myself. What if I pass away with that same medical condition? So we worked through the value to him and those around him if he got this medical condition and passed away. And it was a beautiful experience to unfold. And we only got to probably about 20 benefits to him and those around him until he went, I have no fear attached to getting that medical condition or even passing away right now. And that didn't take long. So this may seem too hard for you, but there is a resolution at the end. But that was beautiful to see him, and it was probably only around 20 that just poofed, resolved it. So thank you to him. He'll know who I'm talking about. So when we think about that, if you've got any fears that come up, look at that. How will that serve you if those fears come up? And that's relating to those past stories that we've attached, either yours or others. So what I'd love you to do from here is write down those past stories that you're holding on to. You know they came up during this video and you probably flicked them away. So work on them. If you have any trouble, reach out. I'm just a message away, but work on them. Don't let this sit still in your heart, because it's just going to keep going and going and going. And if this, even though this exercise is about why do we overthink, if this is too hard for you, reach out. Don't let this be chaotic in your mind, because this is not the purpose of my videos to you. So I thank you for joining me today. I value you for doing what you're doing and for staying on this video. If you have any questions, let me know. Other than that, I will see you next week. Thank you very much.